So the question is, how can one hope to meditate and find God if one is a householder? You don't have to meditate for hours and hours and hours and hours. If you can do quality meditation for 10 minutes, you will find God. If you can hold on to a thought for 7 minutes, you will experience Samadhi. The question is not to meditate and sit down and, I always say, become lifeless. The question is to immerse yourself in that devotional sentiment. For a householder, you should turn everything into sadhana, everything into meditation. If you are bathing in the morning, you say, I'm giving an abhishekam to my deity. Your deity lives here, right? That's what Nyasa means. Before every puja we do Nyasa. What does that mean? That my body is a temple and I'm installing you in this temple now so that you and I are one. When you're eating, you think, I'm offering ahutis to my God. Aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita. Pran pan samayukta pachamannam chaturvidham. Oh Arjuna, Krishna says, I am that Vaishvanar fire in everybody's stomach that digests food of 4 types. So this is a yagya. Turn eating your food into sadhana. If you are sleeping, think of this as samadhi. If you are copulating, think of this as a union with Shiva and Shakti. If you are earning, think of this as Ma Lakshmi. Turn everything into sadhana. This is the easiest route. This is what Navda Bhakti is. The path of renouncing is not designed for a householder. It won't help a householder. A householder is not supposed to set aside 2 hours every day, 3 hours every day and meditate at the cost of his responsibilities, at the cost of his own health, at the cost of his quality time with the family. It doesn't work that way. So Devrishi Narad, the second story, thought he was the greatest bhakta. And he thought that nobody has greater devotion than him. And Lord Vishnu saw that now seeds of ego have sprouted in my devotee. So Narada asks Vishnu, who is your greatest devotee? It's like a woman dressing up and asking, how am I looking? Just needs a reformation, makes her feel good. So the devotee is always, devotee has that relationship with God. He's saying, who is your greatest devotee? He had every hope that Lord Vishnu will say, you of course, Narad, who else? But no, he said, oh, my greatest devotee lives on earth. He said, on earth? Really? He said, yes, we can go and test. And they both go down. And goes to this farmer. It's evening. And they say, we are really tired and hungry. Can you give us some shelter and food? He said, come on in. And he offered it to Sri Hari, and then fed his guests, and then himself, his family. So morning came and he went to his fields. Afternoon he had his lunch. Evening he came back and they were waiting for him there. And Devrishi Narad asked him, how often do you think of God? How often do you chant His names? He said, well, I do it before I eat any meal. I do it in the morning and one time in the evening. Is that all? He said, yeah, man, I got work to do. I have to feed my family. I can't sit around all day chanting God's holy names. I'm sure that's not why He sent me here. Would rather be in Vaikunt if that was the only job you had. And Devrishi Narad looked at Vishnu and said, hang on a minute. You said he's my greatest devotee. He only thinks of you 3 times a day. That too barely. And here I am, going Narayan, Narayan, 24/7. And you tell me I'm not your greatest devotee? Vishnu says, I have a little test for you, Devrishi. Here's a bowl. It has oil. It's full. I want you to go around the village. Come back and make sure not a drop is spilled. Devrishi goes, that's doable. So he goes around, comes back. He said, Lord, there you go. Not a drop has spilled. He said, how lovely. Now, how many times did you think about me? He said, my whole focus was on that bowl. I was watching it because your order was it should not spill. So I walked every step with extreme care. He said, I gave you one simple thing and you didn't think of me even once while doing it. And look at this man, he raises a family, he tends to his cattle, he is looking after his farms, but yet he finds time every day to think about me. If you really think about it, does God need quality or quantity? Because if He needed quantity, He would not say at multiple places, if you call me even once with out of devotion love, I come. He would say, at least call me 108 times, or 1,000 times, or 1,000,000 times. Because quantity, it's about matter. It's about substance. But the divine transcends substance. How can you offer any substance to the one who created all the substance at the first place? So as long as you know you're leading a good life and you're doing your karma, and if you can spare some time for God, it is not necessary, by the way, because you need to differentiate between religion and spirituality. Religion at the most may be a vehicle, but doesn't matter you own a Ferrari or you own a Ford, you can't just keep driving. Sometime you just want to stop. Of all the greatest saints there have been, tell me who ever got a darshan, got a vision of the deity in a temple. And you think about it yourself. If you cannot make this your temple, if you cannot worship God in everybody, I don't think you will see Him in